It all began on a chilly October night in a quiet, wooded town in Vermont. The leaves had turned to brilliant shades of amber and crimson, the air carried a scent of damp earth, and Halloween was just a few days away. The streets buzzed with talk about haunted houses, spooky corn mazes, and local legends. Among them was an old tale rarely told, one that most brushed off as rural folklore, the legend of the scary pumpkin and the Chhalava, a malevolent spirit said to imitate the form of anyone it desired. Claire Thompson, a 17-year-old high school senior with a growing fascination for the paranormal, had heard about the legend from her grandmother. Stay away from the Hollow Glen woods during the last week of October, her grandmother had warned, because that's when the Chhalava roams. And if you see a pumpkin with carved eyes watching you, run. Claire didn't believe in ghost stories. To her, they were just cautionary tales to keep kids out of the woods. So when her best friends, Marcus, Ellie, and Jake, suggested filming a spooky video in those very woods for their YouTube channel, Urban Legends Unmasked, Claire eagerly agreed. The plan was simple. Hike into Hollow Glen, find the abandoned cabin rumored to be cursed, spend the night filming, and post the video for Halloween. They packed their gear, cameras, flashlights, snacks, and a couple of walkie-talkies, and set out on October 28th, a day known among locals as Shadow Eve. The sun dipped behind the hills as they reached the forest entrance. A sign read, "Private property. Do not enter." Marcus, who loved to break the rules, laughed it off and ducked under the chain-link gate. The others followed. As night fell, the forest grew unnaturally quiet. Not even the rustle of squirrels or the hoot of an owl could be heard. Their footsteps crunched against fallen leaves, the only sound breaking the silence. Ellie, always the most sensitive of the group, clutched her jacket tightly. "Does anyone else feel like we're being watched?" she whispered. They found the cabin just before 9 p.m. It was a decaying structure made of dark timber, its roof partially collapsed, and the door hanging off its hinges. Vines snaked across the walls, and the air around it felt strangely cold, colder than it had been on the trail. Jake set up the camera while Claire recorded their introduction. "Hey everyone," she said, facing the lens. "Tonight we're deep in Hollow Glen Woods, inside the legendary cursed cabin. People say no one who stays here overnight comes back the same. Let's see what the truth really is." Inside the cabin, cobwebs clung to every corner. An old fireplace sat in the center, filled with charred wood and ash. There were signs that someone or something had been there recently. A half-burnt candle, muddy footprints, and worst of all, a pumpkin in the far corner, carved with jagged teeth and glowing faintly from within. Claire moved toward it. "Guys, this wasn't here before." "It's probably just someone's idea of a joke," Marcus said, though even he didn't sound convinced. They decided to stay anyway, brushing off the unease as nerves. They took turns telling ghost stories, filming shadowy corners of the cabin, and trying to provoke whatever spirit might be there. Around midnight, strange things began to happen. First, Ellie vanished. 1 minute she was recording outside, capturing a slow pan of the trees. The next minute, she was gone, her camera still recording and lying on the forest floor. They searched everywhere, calling her name, but it was like she had simply disappeared. Then came the second pumpkin. Claire found it by the cabin door, a fresh one, with the same jagged grin but with Ellie's face carved into it. The likeness was horrifyingly accurate. Jake wanted to leave immediately, but Marcus insisted they stay and find Ellie. "We can't leave her behind," he said. That was when things got worse. Claire saw someone or something moving in the woods. It looked like Ellie, same clothes, same hair, same voice. But her smile was wrong. Too wide. Too frozen. Claire backed away as Ellie stepped closer, whispering her name in a chilling sing-song voice. "Claire. Claire, come play in the dark." Claire screamed and ran back to the cabin. She slammed the door shut and turned to Jake and Marcus. "Ellie's out there, but it's not her." The group barricaded the door with old furniture. They tried calling for help, but there was no signal. Jake checked the footage from Ellie's camera, hoping to find a clue. What he found instead was terrifying. In the last 5 seconds of Ellie's video, just before it dropped to the ground, a figure stood behind her. Tall, pale, with hollow black eyes and a stitched mouth. And behind that figure, a glowing pumpkin. Marcus paced nervously. "That's the Chhalava," he whispered. "My uncle told me about it. He used to live near here.
It can copy people.
Lures you out with familiar faces. And the pumpkin? That's its mark. When it claims someone, a pumpkin shows up with their face." Jake turned pale. "So, if that's true, we're next." Just then, the door creaked. They turned, horrified, as another pumpkin appeared on the doorstep. This one looked like Marcus. Eyes wide, mouth stitched shut, just like the creature. "No, no, this can't be," Marcus started, but the lights flickered. The temperature dropped sharply. A hand smashed through the window and dragged Marcus out before either Claire or Jake could react. His screams echoed through the woods, and then silence. Another pumpkin. 3 now. Ellie, Marcus, and who was next? Jake and Claire huddled inside the cabin, whispering about what to do. Claire remembered her grandmother's words. "If you see a pumpkin with carved eyes watching you, run." She decided they had to destroy the pumpkins. Maybe it would break the curse. Arming themselves with a rusted axe from the fireplace, they stepped outside and smashed Ellie's pumpkin. A shrill scream pierced the air. They did the same to Marcus's, then ran for the trail. But the forest had changed. It twisted in impossible ways, paths looping back to the same tree, the same rock, the same cabin. No matter which direction they ran, they returned to the clearing with the pumpkins. Now there were 4. Jake's face was on the newest one. Claire turned to Jake, but he was gone. In his place stood the stitched creature, grinning with Jake's stolen voice. "You shouldn't have come here, Claire," she screamed and ran into the woods, tears streaming down her face. She didn't stop running, not until dawn began to rise and the sky turned from black to gray. Somehow, she found the road. A passing truck picked her up. She was shaking, muttering about pumpkins and shadows. The driver tried to get her help, but no one believed her story. The footage was corrupted. The cabin, when authorities returned, had vanished. Only Claire knew the truth. Now, every year as Halloween approaches, she posts a warning on her YouTube channel. If you go into Hollow Glen, don't look at the pumpkins. Because somewhere out there, the Chhalava still waits. With glowing eyes, stitched smiles, and pumpkins carved one by one.